When I did my first tour, I came back like most people, just jumpy and paranoid. But this is because of war. It's everything out there. So like the people, the animals, the IEDs, you name it. Everything out there seems to want to kill you. And you're there for half a year. So this is obviously sort of stressful. Yeah, it's the job you sign up to do, but it's obviously going to take a toll on you over half a year of your life. With me personally, the effect of this calmed down with me after a month or two. The power these things have, like the IEDs, is unbelievable. Um, without going too much into it, this one IED, a jackal, like a vehicle, drove over a pressure plate on a sandy bridge sort of thing, and that's when I heard the loudest explosion I'd ever heard in my life. And these vehicles, although they're sort of, fast movement, they're still about 7 ton, I think. So the wheels on the jackal, as you can imagine, are probably about 10 times the weight of a standard car wheel. The wheel from the jackal was not only torn from the vehicle on this explosion, but it was thrown. It must have been about 200 meters. The thing that stays with me the most about this is 30 minutes or so before, the whole company were literally walking over this bridge, and although we were spaced out, like exactly how you sort of taught, it would have easily taken out, I dread to think, 10 lads, I don't know, maybe more. That's the thing that stuck with me. We got off the helo in like a well-known Taliban stronghold, and within minutes we were being chased with mortars, with like mortar explosions, like chasing you, like, getting closer and closer and closer. And I can't remember how many, but I do remember a couple of minutes before, you could see the Taliban. Obviously, we were getting chased with mortars, so we were running and taking over. We sort of taken over a compound. We had snipers on the roof, and we were being circled by Apaches. It was always like in pairs. There's always two of them circling you. We had we had lads, lots of patrols going out. It was a massive operation that day. It was to show the Taliban that we would basically turn up wherever, although it was their stronghold, we would turn up and not care. Basically, it was like a show of force from our sort of side. Basically, we took the Afghan army with us, or the ANA, the Afghan National Army. There was about 20 of them as well. It was my turn to go onto sentry, out the back of the compound. I was a new lad. I was super alert, because of not because of what I'd already seen that day, but what I'd seen over the past few months. This place was, swarming with Taliban. So I kept looking over the compound wall, where my sentry sort of position was, to make sure they wasn't trying to post a grenade over. Like, you can imagine the stress this is having on, a 22-year-old lad, 21, 22-year-old lad. when we were being circled by the Apaches, nothing ever happened. The Apaches were far too good. The Taliban knew that. When they were there, there was never any trouble. But they obviously had to refuel. They left, and I remember noticing 2 plant pots. Well, I thought that they were plant pots anyway, on top of a wall. I carried on, like, sort of looking around, and I looked back and I noticed now there was only 1 plant pot. Obviously this alerted me. I like picked my weapon up to look through the sights, and it turns out it was someone's head. It was people watching me, and it was only a few minutes later and we got mortared again. They were obviously trying to get me, and 1 landed outside the wall. I was like, another one came, and it landed inside the compound I was in, inside the wall, and it wasn't even 10 metres away from me. It's a miracle I survived, and it's a miracle I survived that whole tour, to be honest. Is, one of the lads got shot in the head and survived. How he survived that. It hit his helmet, it went into his helmet and went around the inside of the helmet and shot out the back. But what didn't help me coming back was I was in the middle of a city. I kept staying there. That's where my girlfriend at the time lived. I was just being in the city, in Birmingham sort of city. But because it was the end of October, it was also near bonfire night, and I didn't get diagnosed with PTSD because of the things I've just spoke about then. I didn't get diagnosed because of that tour. Actually, somehow I was just a bit shaky for a couple of months afterwards, but I was back to normal after about 2 months or so. When the fireworks were going off in this where I were, so high up on the 11th sort of floor, it seemed like they were exploding outside the window. They obviously weren't. But coming back from where I was and seeing the stuff I saw and hearing what I heard, feeling the blast waves like moving your trousers, and nowadays it seems that it's not just bonfire night anymore. It's like a bonfire 3 weeks, and this is exactly why I wanted to say this or do this audio here. It didn't help that it was spread over sort of 3 weeks. I recovered, thank God, from that tour. After a couple of months, the fireworks came and they went again. Some people's traumatic experience is to do with explosions and the noise and the whistling that it's making and all this sort of stuff as it's going up and coming towards you and all this, and obviously rightly so if you think about it. And the only tip I can give to anyone who may be reminded of anything bad from the past when a firework goes off is just trying to remain calm. Clearly I'm not an expert in this sort of field, but it helps me when my event's triggered and I wake up sweating, and just trying to remain calm helps. Deep breathing and trying to remain calm, I find, is the best sort of natural medicine for this. And what I'd done when I came back from my tour was listening to music and TV. maybe even try that. Just try your sort of best to remember that the New Year's Eve firework phase, it will pass. Hopefully people don't, spread it over 3 weeks, but your sort of individual world will go back to normal, or as normal as it can do, soon. Obviously, the world isn't gonna stop for soldiers and who may not be coping with the fireworks too well. Obviously, the world isn't gonna stop for that. Especially after a year like the one we've just had, people are eager to get out, eager to have parties, eager to do all this stuff, so that they're not going to stop. Not because of being nasty, it's just because you simply won't come into people's minds, and that's why, again, I wanted to do this, because hopefully that one person will listen and just be wise to the fact that some people may not have came back themselves, that may not have came back the way they went out there. Sort of try and keep the fireworks to 1 or 2 nights, not spread them over 3 weeks, and try and be a little bit more considerate. I'm sure that will be massively appreciated from the boys and girls who are struggling. Obviously, there's people out there who will say, I couldn't care less about what these people are going through, that's their job, but these are the people who wear the poppy. Remember why you wear that poppy, so you do care. While some people are having the time of their lives, others simply won't be. And obviously, as before, I hope this sort of helps at least one person